While officials wouldn't go into the financial specifics of this arrangement, they did elaborate on what patients can get from what's regarded as the world leader in medicine. How are you? Okay. We have the crowd reaction. How are you feeling?
Brady Mallory chatted with some campers today, and he's live at Red River with this story. Brady?
Well, you couldn't ask for a better day for these campgrounds to reopen. And Molly and Charlie, right behind me, you can see at least some campers taking advantage of this beautiful weather.
10's already a big birthday. It's that first year of double digits. But in Silver's case, he's turning 10 on the 10th day of the 10th month of the 10th year of the millennium.
So how's the National Guard preparing just in case that 1% becomes the real deal?
Yes, remember those fire drills in school?
Yeah.
They are having the drill of their own. It's a mock evacuation. So just in case, they'll be ready.
Strapping on these flood waders for another flood. Who would buy a coffin? The volunteers here say the upkeep of this park is pretty important. We got a call over the scanner saying a trailer at a trailer park just west off of Highway 2 in Amarillo was on fire. It's still not too late to cast your vote in the special election for the Grand Forks Public Library. As Dahl and his wife watched from the road over there, they had thought about going into their basement.
Because everywhere you looked, you saw a heavy one of these. But students aren't just filling up their backpacks, they're also filling up schools like this right behind me, because enrollment is up this year from last year.
Of course, watching it on the big screen with a few thousand of your closest friends is much better than just watching it at home.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us in. Right now, river levels in Grand Forks, East Grand Forks. The Red River is at 41.96 feet. The river is now expected to hit 51 feet sometime on Wednesday. There is one less Republican candidate for president this evening. Real estate mogul Donald Trump says he is not running for president. The toll of the tornadoes a record 211 in one day on Wednesday. An EF5 had winds up to 205 miles an hour. But this outbreak had more than one punch. Union members locked out of American Crystal sugar plants are urging city leaders in both Grand Forks and East Grand Forks to write letters to both the union and the company. The letters would be asking both sides to reach a compromise and put local people back to work. Jerseys and other merchandise carrying the Fighting Sioux nickname and logo have been removed from the NCAA's online store, and use of the nickname in merchandise descriptions is being removed today. Judy Shepard has been instrumental in changing the way we view hate crimes. She says beyond the politics, there are other things in the media getting our attention. Here's part 2 of my interview with Judy Shepard. Television show Glee.
Right.
And Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah, Lady Gaga's been amazing for us. She's I don't even know what to call her. She's a phenomena all her own, right? And Glee's been so huge in introducing a gay character who's struggling, but with extended family and a supportive family, biological family. It's been an amazing. But we see more and more positive depictions of the gay community on TV now. My generation, we didn't have that.
Headlines made about bullying. What does it do to a nation when we hear about these stories about these kids who are just taunted for being different?
You know, it's been a problem for a long time. Teen suicide of young kids is bad enough, but when you throw in sexual orientation or gender identity, it just grows exponentially. And this isn't a new thing, but we just started hearing about it in mainstream media this year. It's a tragedy. It's a loss of humanity.
Because when you get right down to it, the bullied and the bullies they all start as someone's child.
Well, they do. And bullies have issues or they wouldn't be bullies. But if we just send them home and then bring them back without addressing those issues, we've not accomplished anything. It's time to stop making the bullied the victim and to try to help them become someone who can actually fight back.
That's so gay. And we hear that and it starts that way, and it can really get to a different level.
It does escalate very quickly if we don't call people on it, especially certain people. It's become so much a part of our vernacular, that's so gay, that we need to challenge, especially our young kids, to think that that is not a proper way to speak about anything.
Judy constantly challenges the political world. In 2009, President Barack Obama signed the Matthew Shepard Act into law, expanding hate crime laws to include crimes motivated by a victim's actual or perceived gender, sexual orientation, and gender identity. A legacy she's created for him.
If I weren't doing this, Matt would be doing this, and I just try to do him justice.
We all know him as Matthew Shepard, but to you he was Matt. Who was your Matt?
He was a smart, funny, handsome young man who loved to argue and debate, ask questions, and sort of upset the apple cart frequently. That was his goal in life, I think. He was a very intelligent young man who just didn't think the status quo was good enough.
You titled your book, The Meaning of Matthew. So what's the meaning of Judy?
Congratulations, you've asked me a question I've not been asked before. You know, I'm a mom, and I just want to communicate that to people, that loving your kids is the most important thing you can do in your life.
The two men who killed Matthew Shepard, Aaron McKinney and Russell Henderson, are both serving 2 life sentences without parole. Well, you're right, these guys weren't after a huge storm in the area, Charlie. The storm chasers are actually raising money for a city that's still recovering after a recent headline-making storm.
It's a crowd pleaser.
It's awesome. It goes in tornadoes.
People are excited to see this vehicle, right? Because it's like the carnival has come to town.
The 14,000-pound Tornado Intercept vehicle and the stars of the Discovery Channel Storm Chasers brought out some photographers and even a few weather junkies.
The lightning and, you know, when it gets dark and the thunder is roaring, I like that.
But in East Grand Forks, the crew wasn't after an EF4 because this is what the guys were chasing.
Whenever we do downtime, we raise money for Joplin, Missouri.
To help the people there deal with the aftermath of the 200-mile-per-hour winds that tore through 8,000 structures. Casey says it's the other side of what you see on their TV show.
Storm chasing, you get excited about seeing a storm and a tornado. But that same excitement, especially this year, is kind of squashed by all the destruction that's been going on.
All ages found a little extra cash for the people in Joplin.
And then they can buy like new homes and cars and maybe new pets.
And the Storm Chasers do this kind of fundraising all over the country. They want to get as many people as they can for donations, because $1 here or $1 there, it all really adds up. And the more of these they can get, the more people they can help in Joplin. And it's a pretty cool deal for East Grand Forks too.
Doing a drum roll, all right. Okay, 9, 12, 13, $743.33.
And all of that money will be donated in East Grand Forks' name. And for the people in Joplin, this will be quite the crowd pleaser.
We've witnessed a lot of destruction this year, and your heart goes out to these communities that are affected.
Schools in Minnesota, like Crookston High School, say not passing a proposed referendum levy could make trouble in the next few years.
That one. Then we'll go ahead and continue with what we're looking at.
One-on-one time with students is an important part of Stephen Kofed's job.
11 plus 5t squared plus t.
But it's getting harder to do.
Our state obviously is struggling, and that's a lot of where some of our stuff is coming from.
It's leading to fewer teachers and fewer programs in Minnesota schools like Crookston High School.
Every year it seems like March turns out to be who's on the chopping block and what can we, look at getting rid of to go ahead and free up some money.
The school district is hoping for a little relief this midterm election. A levy referendum is on the ballot this year to help raise funds for the school district. If passed on November 2nd, it would put a $195 hike in property tax on an average priced home in Crookston of $78,000. Kofed says that's a relatively small increase per month.
$16, you just don't go out to eat twice a month and all of a sudden your $16 is right there.
What we're doing is for their children, so this is the only thing that's left at our disposal.
The Crookston School District has already cut $2 million in programs and let go of 12 teachers in the past 2 years.
30% of our budget money is held back by the state and used to balance the state's budget. We have to borrow money just to pay cash flow.
The tax would affect most residential homes with refund possibilities. Not affected, ag properties. But referendums like this have been voted down year after year in Crookston.
They used to call operating levies an excess or a surplus levy, but now school districts are everywhere pursuing these operating levies because they just want to operate. We just want enough money to get by.
We have to start looking at class sizes of 30, 35 across the board. If it doesn't go, it's going to be something that we have to start looking forward and saying, do we need to wait 2 more years to really figure out that times aren't great?
Just throwing the ball and all worked.
Long enough to get Iverson a perfect 300 score at the end of a game in February.
Just depends on how good you feel that day.
About a week later, he got another perfect 300. Then again after another week. Then, number 4.
To do 4 of them in 26 days is
feat that I don't think anybody's done around here.
You know, getting a 200 game is probably a good game for us. You know, and we're amazed with that, let alone the 300 and then that many in that short period of time was kind of cool.
I just got friends congratulating me and telling me how amazing it is, and to me it's bowling.
And it has been since he was 5 when he picked up his first ball. He learned a valuable technique in the 36 years since.
Repetitions, repetitions, to keep on throwing.
Now I have to wonder, how hard can rolling a perfect game be?
Some people it's easy, some people it's tough.
Not so tough for Iverson. About an hour after this interview, a 5th perfect 300, 9 days since his last one.